WCLU news coverage of the 2020 general election is brought to you in part by Glasgow Prescription Center.
The Glasgow Prescription Center is proud to be your whole life pharmacy because our goal is to provide the best pharmaceutical and home medical care to every patient that comes in our door. Log online to glasgowrx.com or call 270-651-8889 to find out how Glasgow Prescription Center can serve you.
Welcome today, Senator Givens, to our program. We're glad to have you in our studio today, of course, in continuation to our 2020 political coverage and our election coverage for this year. But first, how are you today?
I'm well, Brennan. Thank you, and it's wonderful to be here today, WCLU, and seeing Henry and the folks here. It's good to be in Glasgow.
Sure. Well, we're glad to have you. So, of course, in continuation, for those that have been watching each of these interviews, the format's very similar. So first, we want to just talk about you. Of course, you've been in office for a little bit of time now, so I'm sure a lot of people know who you are, but perhaps someone doesn't know. Talk about your origins, and obviously you're the senator for this region of the state.
Sure. Well, again, thank you for the opportunity to share this message, and was elected for the first time in 2008. Began serving in 2009 as the elected state senator for the 9th Senate District. At the time of my election in 2008, that district was comprised of Edmonson County, Barren, my home county of Greene County, Metcalfe, and then Allen and Simpson. We've redistricted once since I've been elected, so I was unable to maintain Edmonson County in my district. I lost to Edmonson and picked up Monroe. I was certainly sad to see Edmonson go after I built relationships there, but thrilled to serve in Monroe County. So the 9th Senate District right now is comprised of those 6 counties. I live and reside in Greene County, have lived there almost 30 years now. Actually was born in Somerset. At the age of 6, moved to Greensburg with my family, where my father started a farm supply business, feed, seed, fertilizer, a family-owned business there in Greensburg, and we've been in that business my entire life, basically. Continue to be active in that business, and as you know, and a lot of your viewers may or may not know, serving in the General Assembly in Kentucky is a citizen legislature nature of service. So we serve full-time in that period of time when we're in session, which is January, February, March, and part of April. And then the rest of the year, we're between our day job, which in my case is farming, farm supply business, and being a parent to 3 wonderful children that I enjoy a lot, along with traveling to Frankfort 1, maybe 2 days a week, depending on the issues in the interim that we have to deal with. But I've enjoyed the service. I've enjoyed the work. The policy making is fascinating. To get to see a complex problem, know the resources the state have are always going to be limited in the number of dollars we can throw at something, but to try and create and craft policy to meet the needs of the citizens within the budget constraints that we have and get it to make it through what many refer to as a sausage-making process of Frankfort, and then to see it actually implemented and see that work go through is very fulfilling for me, and I enjoy that a lot.
Sure, and sometimes can be a very complex concept for sure, just getting from a problem to actually a law. So as a senator, you know, we can relate, of course. I know you just mentioned the other 5 counties in your district beside Barren County, but I kind of want to talk a little bit about some ways you've been able to help in Barren County specifically. I know there, you know, you've led some policy, of course, most notably to my mind with Kristen Edwards' family. You were able to work on policy with that, and just talk about some other involvements, and you can even talk about that policy if you'd like.
Sure. Thank you for that opportunity. And so it's fascinating, having served now for 12 years and running for that 4th term. I've accumulated some credibility in Frankfort, and in so doing have been elected by my peers to serve as the Vice President of the Senate. So President Pro Tem is that formal title. I'll preside when the Senate President steps down. I'm also typically in the room when the door closes and decisions get to be made or have to be made, and I enjoy being in the middle of the process. I also serve on 4 committees. I serve on the Appropriations and Revenue, which we often refer to as the Budget Committee. I'm on Health and Welfare. I'm on the Education Committee and the Ag Committee. And so through that, I've had the opportunity to do some really good things for the entire Senate District, specifically Barren County in our conversation today. The road work and the transportation plan is one area that I'm most energized about. Basically, the entire bypass has been designed and built in the time that I've been in Frankfort. We've added at least 2 and maybe 3, if I can recall correctly, interchanges off of that Cumberland Parkway to provide better access for schools and for citizens traveling and for business and industry.
So let's kind of switch up and talk a little bit more about some bigger type of ideas that I guess we touch on with offices like yours. So constituents are always kind of looking at voters' guides, for instance, and things like that, which from this standpoint, sometimes I feel like those can be a good pointer or sometimes bad. So trying to come to the middle of that, I don't really want to ask, do you support this, do you support that, but just really, what have you observed people really ask of you as a candidate? And I'm talking big ideas. I know there's always questions about the legalization of like marijuana and things like that when it comes to talking in your offices. Those are big ideas that really you don't hear on the local level. It's more at the state level. So getting into ideas like that.
So Brennan, great question. And one I would encourage voters, and I talk with all 3 of my children about it, and when I have the chance to have conversations with younger people preparing to enter that age of voting, the challenge I'll often put to them, and I'll put to voters in general, is don't, and I say this with great respect, don't get too hung up on one issue. Don't get too hung up on asking me or any other candidate, where do you stand on this one item? Number one, in my case, I typically won't take a firm final position on something until I see the bill. The bill itself may have the contents of what you like and what you want me to vote for, but it may also have 95% of it may be the stuff you don't want, all woven into one piece of legislation. So I encourage voters, number one, don't ask me specifically how I'm going to vote on one single issue, but ask me what is my decision process to arrive at an answer prior to a vote. And typically that involves a lot of research. Typically that's going to involve people that I trust that are subject matter experts. I have the good fortune of serving in a caucus, my Republican caucus of 27 other members. We have 28 total in our Republican caucus. I have 10 Democratic members that I have great respect for. So the state Senate in Kentucky being made up of 38 individuals, all 38 of us have walked different life experiences, have different educational experiences, and have different skills and expertise. Typically, any issue that comes up, we can find someone in the Senate that's got a really strong knowledge base about that subject. So I encourage voters, don't get too hung up on one item, one issue, because trust me, the next General Assembly, when we start in January, are going to have issues that are going to be very impactful that they haven't even thought of, that voters haven't even thought of to ask. So that's my encouragement. Investigate the candidates. I like the voter guide question you've raised, but typically those voter guides are partisan in nature. They're trying to push someone toward a cause or in favor of something. Interesting push polling over the last few years. There was one very negative push poll in one of the campaigns that I ran, and my mom happened to be one of the people that answered the phone when the push poll caller made the call, and the caller was the surveyor / push poller was trying to convince my mom of what a bad guy I was, and she was quite quick to say, he's my son, I'm going to continue to vote for him. And so it was an interesting interchange. I would encourage voters, do your own research.
What have you found in your time as a senator? Do you find it easy or difficult to really connect with your constituents?
Thankfully, I'm in a place where I still get to be at a transactional level. Even with 6 counties, I have the chance to interact with a lot of constituents over the course of a week. I'm active there in the farm store. I'm typically behind the farm store counter if I'm not on the road to Frankfort, so I'll have customers that come in and they want to talk about issues. It's not unusual at all, so I get a lot of that. I really enjoy being able to do the one-on-one. Now, of course, I get lots of calls or lots of emails to my Frankfort office, and I've got great staff there that does a good job helping constituents navigate either messaging me or working through issues. We're dealing with lots of unemployment insurance questions now and still trying to work with the administration. Despite some headaches we've had with the administration on getting unemployment insurance done, we're still working hard to get that done. Lots of different ways to interact. If a constituent is looking for the most effective way, I would encourage be part of an association. And I don't say that because I'm hard to reach or you can't get to me if you want to talk one-on-one. You can certainly do that. But a perfect example is the Barren County Cattlemen's Association here in Barren County. They do a wonderful job of representing the interest of the cattlemen. Kentucky Farm Bureau, very active here in Barren County, do a great job of that. If you have a specific interest that aligns with an association or a larger group, the Realtors Association, I get lots of feedback from them every year about realtor issues. Engage in that association because they can help sharpen and unify that message and then get it up into Frankfurt at the appropriate time, especially if a piece of legislation is moving.
We appreciate you coming in today.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brennan Crane, News Director for WCLU Radio. Thank you for watching this portion of our 2020 election coverage. Visit us at WCLUradio.com and online at Facebook and Twitter for the latest and breaking news updates.